So where I like to start personally, the signs themselves, because it sets the building, a scene for the building within itself, based off of what they say. So these signs hit people differently when they walk in. For some people, it's a blast back to their past, literally. For others, it goes completely over heads. And the unfortunate part of things is if you stand here long enough, people actually follow the signs. Hence why there's always a delay when you come into our doors from me personally, because I want to see how you react to these signs. That's why I'm not here greeting you as soon as you walk in, because I'm watching, I'm seeing how are you going to be affected by these signs. But nevertheless, what set it into play was an 1896 court case by the name of Plessy versus Ferguson. Court case that said segregation amongst races was absolutely legal. And in reality, how that played out, the verdict was separate but equal. Now, how this truly looked within the country, white individuals got a pearly white water fountain, black individuals got a rusty water fountain, and as long as they both got water fountains, separate but equal is the verdict. And unfortunately, that reality found its way into the form of education as well. Looking a little something like this right here. This is how it will look throughout the country, especially in the South, but this display is more specific to that of South Carolina, where white individuals would have went to a mansion of a school in comparison to that of black individuals going to a one-room shack. And I wish I could tell you that, hey, listen, I'm just making all this stuff up, it's just a joke. Unfortunately, here's the actual reality of that display within this picture. Where black individuals would have went to this one-room shack, as I just mentioned, no books, no resources, no indoor plumbing. They might have been first grade learning next to second through 12th graders from a teacher that didn't even have a degree themselves, right next to mom and dad, and it could have just been basic reading or math. In comparison to an all-white school that would have had all those things. Books, resources, indoor plumbing, adequate amount of funding, good teachers, buses, recess equipment, cafeteria, the whole shebang. Essentially, if you named it, they had all.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we were earlier at one of the other National Park Service locations, in fact, and they had a point about how this still is in effect in many ways. It's not as blatant,
Absolutely.
right? They don't mark the job or the person pulling you over in a car or something as someone being racially biased.
Right.
But on the other hand, unintentionally, people are less likely to pick someone of color. People are more likely to pull them over. They're more likely to be convicted. And so we've progressed from the overt, but we are still dealing with it. Is there some discussion that comes from you seeing people here, or that is discussed in some of your meetings about how this started things, but where we need to go to next?
What you'll end up finding is you have multiple emotions that come out of this actual site. For me personally, happy, sad, mad, but also a source of inspiration. So the happy, sad, mad will present itself as you explore within our site. However, that inspired part of it, man, what you'll see is, as you mentioned, we've made progress throughout the country. Literally, the fact that we're standing right here before each other 65 years ago would have been frowned upon. And if these signs were active literally right now, yeah, we would have some issues if I personally just step over there where I'm going to be going next. So that's the progression within itself, but as you mentioned, we still got some work to do. So talking about that inspirational part of it, yeah, we're standing on the backs of giants to get us to where we are, literally right here, right now. But as you mentioned, we got some work to do. It's going to be tough, hard, frustrating. You might want to give up. You might want somebody to give you the answer, all that kind of stuff. But in that moment, you can reflect right here to Brown v. Board, because if they can figure it out, yeah, so can we.